right, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. So today's webinar is going to be all questions and answers for self-directed IRAs, Roth IRAs, 401Ks. We had a 3-day webinar series last week where we had a lot of questions that we didn't have a chance to answer. So we're going to go ahead and start with some of those, and then we'll go ahead and go into any questions that you guys have. So just put them in the chat, put them in the questions and answers. That's going to be all that we're doing for the next hour. And we'll go ahead and develop a conversation from there. Before we get started, I wanted to introduce two of my coworkers that work here at Horizon Trust and that are very knowledgeable in all things self-directed. My name is Claudia Guzman, and I run all new accounts and affiliate relationships. But when I have questions that are more complicated, I bring in these two individuals so that they can go ahead and help me. So our first person is Chris. Chris is the operations manager at Horizon Trust. So she runs all things operations. She makes sure that all of the money is coming in and that gets allocated correctly. All the money that's going out gets sent out correctly. That's what she does. All of her teams are responsible for that part of the process. And I will let her introduce herself.
There's not much less to say with that. But hi, I'm Christine. And I've been in this company for, oh my gosh, it's been 4 years now, but in the industry for 7.
7 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot to learn still, always new things coming up. And yeah, I'm here to help answer some questions for you guys.
Yeah, in the industry for 7 years, so a wealth of knowledge. She's done all the operations herself, so she was one of the processors for a long time, and then obviously now she's our operations manager. So we're really lucky to have her, and she'll be answering a lot of questions that I wouldn't know the answers to, or I wouldn't know the in-depth answers to. So the next person here is Carrie. Carrie is our compliance manager. So he is in charge of the compliance department and making sure that we are doing everything correctly on our side. So when we have a complicated matter or somebody that we're not really sure, are they doing it correctly? Can we do this investment? We go to Carrie, and he's the one that guides us as to what is compliant or not. I want him to tell his story about how his dad owned a trust company. So go back how much knowledge you have there in the industry. So, Carrie, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, so I guess I do have to start with a story. Yeah, so my dad owned a trust company here with his partner. That's where I actually got started in 2010. So I've been in the trust business for 15 years now. Been with Horizon for 8. But yeah, so the knowledge over the years, trainings, going to get certifications have given me some knowledge to answer the deep, hard questions that sometimes come up. But we tried our best to help our clients out the best we can with whatever facts or information that we can get them.
Yeah. And another thing is that Chris and Carrie go to our RITA meetings. And what does RITA stand for?
Retirement
Industry
Investment
Trust Association.
Okay. So that is where they learn anything that's compliance that needs to be discussed. They talk to other trust companies and custodians, other attorneys in the industry that are going through things that we are going through. Because as you guys know, we don't make up the rules. The IRS makes up the rules, but it's important that all of us are very knowledgeable in how to stay compliant and what the new people that are going through. So they even go over investment companies that we might want to steer away from as a trust company to work with, all of things compliance related. So how often do you guys go to those RITA conferences?
Well, the conferences are twice a year.
Twice a year, right?
Yeah. Yep. So as a company, I believe we try to go to each one of them every year. So that way we are always up to date with whatever knowledge comes up.
Yeah.
So it's a split between a lot of different people in the company that goes, not just us,
Yeah.
but multiple people.
Yeah, we try to have a presence for sure.
Yeah. And it's always adaptive legislatively. Everything's changing to the IRS code, so we need to keep up with that.
Yes. Did the contribution limits change this year?
I don't think they are.
They're not,
But,
right? Because they just changed last year.
We won't know until a few months for 2026.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Officially.
Officially, and then they go into effect. Okay. Do you guys want to get started on questions?
Sure.
All right. Sounds good. So I have a lot of people asking that they missed the 3-day class. How can I get it? So we send out an email. Did the email go out already? Yeah. We we send out an email to everybody that registered to the webinar last night. If you didn't get it or you weren't registered to it, then you wouldn't have gotten that email. So I can definitely have our marketing team send it to everybody on this webinar if that's something that you guys are interested in, because I do see that a couple of times on here. Last last week's webinar was with one of our partners, Braden Shaw. We did a 3-day presentation on all things basically grow your net worth. Greg did one of the presentations, then Braden did one of the presentations, and then his investment company came over, not Horizons Trust. Braden's investment company came and did some education on the investment part of it. So yeah, it looks like a lot of people are asking for it. So we'll go ahead and send it out to everybody that's on this webinar. Perfect.
It's pretty
All right.
popular.
What's that?
It seems pretty popular. People are very excited about that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had over 500 people join that webinar. So it was definitely a really good one. People seem to love it. And we're going to be doing those about once a quarter. So definitely stay tuned if you missed it and you want to be live. We can go ahead and send that out. Keep an eye on the next time that we'll have it. Okay. I have Francisco here asking, please go into deeper detail on how to maintain your checkbook LLC. Example, registrations and filings. I can go ahead and answer that. Do you want me to answer
Sure.
that? So we do not do the filings for the checkbook LLCs. I can guide you. So part of my experience is entity formation. I worked for an entity formation company for 13 years, and I was their operations manager over there. Did you know that part?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was their
I
operations
knew you were there,
manager.
but I didn't know your role.
Yeah. So I'm very knowledgeable in the checkbook LLCs. That's why we started offering it on this side. But that being said, we're not the ones that file them. So anything that you need for the filings and the registrations and how to maintain the checkbook LLC, you would go to the entity formation company that helped you with it. You do have to file just like any other entity once a year. So once a year, you're going to have an annual fee for the LLC. You have to have the checkbook LLC bank account that you're going to have to maintain as well, because that's where you're going to be able to do all the checkbook control from the account to the investment. You have to do you would want to keep minutes every year. You would have to do some kind of reporting your minutes with the LLC, but definitely talk to your entity formation company and they'll be able to go over everything that needs to get done. There's not a lot, but there is a little bit of maintenance that you have to do with the LLC. Did you guys want to add anything to that?
I think you covered
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe that since every state is different, we don't have a set guideline we can provide. So every state is going to have different requirements for filing, different requirements within the filing that you have to do and how many times. But unfortunately, you do have to talk to the company. You can also, reach out to any kind of state entity that would help with companies within that state to see what you need to do. But it's different all over the U.S., so that's why we can't provide exact info.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I have our client Mela that is asking, I already have an account with you. What is the process of transferring money for the investment, incorporating the LLC that I set up? So it looks like she does a checkbook LLC. So she wants to know the DOI process for the actual process, the transfer of money.
To move money back into to additionally funding the LLC?
I think she just set up an account. So I think she's asking when she has the money, how does she transfer it over? The DOI. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. So the form we're always form based. So we want written authorization from our clients to go ahead and move the money from the accounts to wherever it needs to go. So in this case, if it's the LLC, we'll need that direction of investment form. And that form is available on our website in our form section. You fill out that form and you would attach the documentation that is related to that investment. So in this case, for an LLC, that would be the EIN, the articles of organization, the operating agreement. And in the operating agreement is where it would have details of your initial contribution amount, who the manager of this business is going to be. It will be signed by the manager, which typically for a single member LLC, it's yourself, possibly a spouse. But you would sign that document and then you would submit all of that together in one packet to us. And the good thing is filling it out on our website means you can just attach it directly into that email or into that one form, and you can sign electronically. So you don't have to do any printing to get it signed. But you send that over to us. Our team will go ahead and review the documentation that was provided. And we will go ahead and then once everything is ready to go, we can send the money out to your LLC's bank account that you set up. And then that money is there and available for you guys to use for whatever other ventures that you have going on underneath the LLC.
Yeah. And once you want to take out a distribution, then what would happen is a lot of people don't realize that they have to send the money over to Horizon Trust because Carrie's team has to report it to the IRS as a distribution. So if you take it out of the LLC, if you take it out of the LLC and we don't know about it, then we won't be able to report it. And all distributions have to be reported. So once you're ready for a distribution, you send money into your Horizon Trust. We have a deposit submission form and a deposit information sheet with our bank information. We'll allocate it to your 401k, IRA, or Roth IRA, whatever kind of account you have here, and then you can do a distribution. So it has to be paper trail for the whole process, and it has to be recorded.
And that goes for actually any movement out of the LLC to other custodians. So transfers and rollovers as well would need to come back to us first.
Yes, that's a great point. Any money that's getting out, that's not for investment purposes. So if you're not completing an investment from the checkbook LLC or paying for any kind of bills for the investment, it has to come through Horizon Trust so that we can allocate it correctly. Okay, I have Stephanie here that's asking, what are the benefits of a Roth 401k versus regular 401k and the income and contribution limits for both? Carrie, would you like to answer that one?
Sure. So the Roth 401k, just like IRAs, it can grow tax-free based on a conversion or contributions made to that account. So if you convert or contribute a certain amount and invest, anything growth on that will be tax-free when it's taken out. There is certain time limits, 5 years, to make sure that that's maintained, the account is maintained before distributions can be made tax-free. Contribution limits, they are the same as a regular 401k compared to employer-employee, depending on how your business works. There are certain types of tax-free contributions, after-tax contributions. We can provide a link to a very good website I use all the time in the chat. I could probably throw it in there after this, that provides specific types of contributions, the amounts and percentages for each account that is available. Like Claudia brought up earlier, I think contribution limits are 20 contribution limits that I can put that link in there for you. It's kind of complicated depending on employer and employee type contributions, after tax, Roth, and things like that. So I won't get into too much detail, but I can put that link in there for you.
Thank you, Carrie.
So this is why we like Carrie on here. He gives the great.
Somebody's really interested in Bitcoin. So let's go over a little bit how Bitcoin works with IRAs and self-directed IRAs. So Bitcoin and any crypto really is an interesting investment because most of the platforms will not let you do it through your self-directed IRA or Roth IRA directly. So what we need to do is we need to go ahead and set up a checkbook LLC. From a checkbook LLC, if you go to Gemini or any of these platforms, they'll let you set up an account in the name of a business, and then you just put your checkbook LLC in there and all the information, and you'll be able to invest. And all of that is tied to your IRA, and you can go ahead and do crypto investment that way. Another way to do it is we do have a company that does it directly from a self-directed IRA. There's not a lot of them out there, but we do have one in our investment corner that we work directly with. And by work, we're not partnered with them. We just send them the information when our clients want to go ahead and get more information. And if they want to set up the account, then they have to work with us so that we can send them the money and all of the supporting docs. Maybe Chris can touch on the supporting documentation. But that company is called iTrust. It's in our investment corner, and you can go ahead and get more information on there. That is one of the only companies that we've been able to have a relationship with that does it directly from the self-directed IRA, which is why we recommend having a checkbook LLC for the other platforms. It's not us that needs it; it's them that won't accept the IRA directly. So, do you want to go over a little bit about the DOI with iTrust and how that works?
Yeah, we've tried to simplify that process as much as we possibly could, right? So, going on to your investment corner is where you'll find a lot of different opportunities or investment options that you can go into. So, again, it's on our website, horizontrust.com. And when you open that section, you can look up iTrust. When you go ahead and click onto that button, it will take you to the iTrust page so you can kind of get more information and see what's going on. And then you're able to fill out the forms directly on that site. And it will link you to our form that you'll need to in order to get this started. When you fill out our direction of investment form, it is basically instructing us to send your cash over to iTrust. And it's a really simple process. Their application is really simple. Our form is really simple. And then you do it all in kind of one shot. Once we receive that form, the completed direction of investment form, again, we'll send the money over to where it needs to go. And then you're able to use your platform with iTrust and go ahead and make whatever investment that you need to.
Do they have to do any kind of identity verification? Because I know I set one up with Gemini, but on a personal level, and I had to do put the same thing that we do here at Horizon. We have to
Mhm.
have our driver's license and stuff. How does it work with an IRA?
That I'm going to defer that question to Carrie because I don't recall if that needs to
That
happen
needs
on
to
on
happen.
their end. Do you remember?
I believe they do it live when you put your information in. There's probably a quick page when you add your information that says loading, and they'll do it on the spot. I believe that's how it is on the iTrust account. So if there's any red flags that come up, they may delay it, but I haven't seen any problems so far.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. So if you need more information on a crypto account or need to set up a crypto account, just contact our concierge department. If you already have an account, if you don't have an account, they'll go ahead and transfer you over to the new accounts division, and they'll be able to set up your account for you and do the process that Chris just described. Super easy. I have Frederick asking, I have a real estate wholesale investment. My question, where should I deposit my earnings from my investments to my Roth IRA held by Horizon or deposit directly into my checkbook LLC bank account? So Frederick, it looks like you're doing the wholesaling from the checkbook LLC. The earnings would go back into the checkbook LLC directly. They don't have to come to Horizon Trust. They have to be in the investment that the titling of the investment was done by, which is the checkbook LLC. I have Dominic asking, does Horizon partner with any of the entity formation companies or have any recommendations? Yes, Dominic. If you go ahead and call our new accounts division, we'll be able to set you up with a checkbook LLC and transfer you over to our entity formation company that does the checkbook LLCs for us. The reason why we recommend for you to go through us, they can do their own entity formation, and Chris can go ahead and expand on everything that's needed for it. But our entity formation company knows how to do the operating agreement that has to have specific verbiage. Do you want to go over the specific verbiage? It's not easy to get on the internet. A lot of people think that they can just go to online and do it through LegalZoom or any kind of entity formation company. It's not that easy because it does have to be IRS compliant, and the operating agreement has to be super specific. So
Yeah. So it's true. You can most definitely do it on your own. We've had people do that, but I will say it tends to be a little bit of a longer process because they're using a very specific format that they have. They're using a standard LLC operating agreement. In this case, because you're holding your LLC under a retirement account, there needs to be specific verbiage, like Claudia said, that needs to ensure that you have the authorization to transact with this business. So you'll need to have it needs to state in there who's considered a prohibited or a disqualified party, what would be a prohibited transaction, that you as the manager have control over the activity that's happening, and that us as the custodian, we don't have that, we don't need to do any additional signings and having consent and things like that within the operating agreement. So there's a lot of different things that needs to have in there. And I can always give you kind of just a baseline of some of the things. But at times we'll get a document and you've created it like on LegalZoom or wherever it is. And we ask you to add additional details, or it should say this. And then we'll end up getting conflicting information because now we have ours and theirs, and it ends up being, you know, a little bit of a mess at times. So when you have someone who is an expert in this process, it's probably best to kind of go through them just to make sure everything's covered. We can get this done quickly for you, and we can get you off running so you can make your investment. So time is of the essence a lot of the times when you guys are doing an investment. So when you go through a specific company who knows how to do it, you're able to just take off and just start investing. So lots of different things that has to be within it. We are here to help, and we can always, you know, explain if that's not something that we can work with or it needs to be revised. But we don't make the LLCs ourselves. We don't create the operating agreement, so it ends up being a little bit more time. And obviously, we want to save you guys time.
Thank you, Chris.
Yes.
That is the best way to describe it. If you have an investment and you're already on a time crunch, you definitely want to have an expert do it for you, because if not, you'll be on Chris's phone and she'll have to explain it. And it's not as easy to kind of comprehend if you've never done LLCs before. Carrie, I will ask this question because I don't know the answer to it. So maybe you're familiar with it. Can you do a 503C as a checkbook account with the Roth SDIRA? Does that?
503C. I'm not familiar with that either, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, if you can give us more information on that question, we can definitely research it. It seems like it's somebody anonymous, so if you want to give us your email, we can research it and we can definitely get you an answer to that, but we are not familiar. Are you familiar with it?
I am not.
No, it's a nonprofit, but I don't know what it means. Like the whole question is kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So I have here my mom passed and used to get money from the STAR program. Do I have to notify them of her passing and reapply in her name now that I am the owner? Do you know what the STAR program is?
I'm not familiar
I'm
with
not
that.
familiar with that either. I don't think
I don't know what the STAR program is.
Yeah, I don't think that has to do with anything self-directed or Horizon related. Um, so that's not something that we would be able to. You do have to, if it is any kind of government program or anything like that, you do have to notify them that she passed and probably provide a death certificate. So that's something that you would definitely find out from them. Okay, I have Chris here asking, I have an old 401k that I'm thinking about rolling over to a self-directed IRA. Can you cover the process, and is there reduced taxes taken out for doing this? I can go over this process. Yeah. Yeah. So setting up the account would be super simple. You would call our new accounts division. We'll go ahead and do an application with you. It takes about 20 minutes to do the application. We'll open the account within 24 hours. And during that time, because it is a 401k, we need to have what's called a liquidations call. And we'll transfer you over to the transfers department. They'll do the liquidations call with you on the phone and the resigning custodian. So we'll call the resigning custodian. We'll let them know that you are going to go ahead and transfer that account over to a qualified custodian, which is Horizon Trust. And we will send in the paperwork. They will go ahead and release the funds over to Horizon Trust in the form of a check, because this is a 401k. Once we get the check, we'll go ahead and allocate it to your new account here at Horizon Trust, and then you can go ahead and do the investment. If you already have an investment that's identified, you will work with an investment specialist here at Horizon Trust to get all the supporting documentation and the direction of investment. The whole process is going to take you, if you already have an investment, anywhere from 1 to 2 weeks. If everything goes well, you answer the phone, the custodian releases the funds, you work with us with the investment supporting documentation, and we can go ahead and make the investment within that time frame. One thing you did ask, reduced taxes taken out. This is it's a non-taxable event, so there's nothing to report. You don't get any reduced taxes or any added taxes, because you're doing a transfer from a qualified account to a qualified account, which keeps the funds tax deferred. Anything I missed?
No, you covered it. That was great.
Okay. We have a lot of questions. Okay, let me find one for Chris or for Carrie.
For Carrie is great. We like when Carrie answers. Yes.
All right. Jessica is asking, if I contribute to a company 401k and an IRA, how do I know if I can fully contribute to my SDIRA Roth with Horizon without going over the allowable contributions? So this has two parts. It has 401k, IRA, Roth IRA. Well, it has three parts actually. I don't know that. Would you guys be able to answer it without getting more information on her personal?
Well, 401k employer 401ks, so self-employed, solo 401k and contributions, and even employer contributions would not affect an IRA contribution. So you can do those separately at the maximum amount. So if you have a solo K or an employment plan that you want to contribute fully to, you can, and an IRA, the full contribution amount, whether it's Roth or traditional. So you don't have to worry about that. It's if you have multiple IRAs is when you need to worry about the contribution limits, or multiple employment plans with the same company, those would get complicated as well. So if you have an employment plan and an IRA, it shouldn't be a problem to do the maximum amount for each.
That is perfect. Thank you, Carrie. I have Francisco asking, when making a personal yearly contribution, would the contribution be sent to the Roth Checkbook LLC or Horizon Trust?
Well, that will go to Horizon Trust. Contributions should never go to your investment. So you always want to have it come here, because that's where we can go ahead and allocate the funds and code it the way it needs to be when we receive it. But when it goes directly there, it's not something that is where we're able to see and report on. So you definitely want to send it to us.
Yeah. And once you do the contribution and it gets recorded as a contribution, you can send it over to your checkbook LLC within 24 to 48 hours. So it does have to have that process, but you can use the money for investment purposes within 24 to 48 hours. It just has to be allocated correctly on our side. Jeannie is asking, do you have a platform Horizon Trust works with to invest in gold? We have a couple of options on our investment corner. Our investment corner is basically options that other clients have gone through for investment purposes. We are not investment advisors and we are not allowed to give any kind of investment advice, but we can provide you with information. So the investment corner is a great platform for you to go and get information on investment options that other clients have utilized. And it is up to you to do your due diligence. So we do have some precious metals brokers options on there that you can go ahead and read on, go to their side, talk to their representatives, and then if you wanted to do the investment, then you can go ahead and start the account with them, go over what the pricing and everything is on their side, and then they will contact us so that we can go ahead and release funds along. They have to do what's the precious metals direction of investment?
And then the invoice.
And an invoice, right? Yeah, and an invoice. And then we'll send the funds over to them. And then at that point, you can go ahead and have. Do you want to go over the depository part of it, Carrie? A lot of people don't realize that they're not allowed to have precious metals in their house from the IRA.
Yeah, we get that question a lot. I mean, just to reiterate, we have options. It's not required that you use the options on our investment corner. You can use a broker you're familiar with or someone maybe recommended to you personally. We do work with mostly Delaware Depository for our storage. Most brokers for metals will know that they can't just provide you the metals if it's coming from an IRA, the funds, the investment funds. So we work mostly with that. We work with the Texas Precious Metal Depository based in Texas. And we do that for auditing reasons. It's easier for us not to have them kind of all over the place, to audit the correct amounts that we have and make sure that it matches what our client has in their account. But yeah, a lot of times we do see that clients want to get it themselves. They want to hold it. Even in an LLC, you cannot physically hold the metals at your house. It's required to have a depository if it's an LLC, it needs to be in the LLC's name, the title of the account at a depository, just to make sure that that's done correctly based on the IRS regulations.
Perfect. I have Steve that's asking, NCH set up my checkbook LLC and account with Horizon. Would I go to them for information, year-end requirements, minutes, and all of that stuff? Yes, Steve. NCH is who I used to work for, the 13 years that I told you experience. So they're super knowledgeable. Just call their customer service line. They have a department that does the solo K part of of their entity formation company. So they can go ahead and give you any information that you need for the upkeep of the LLC. I have Audrey. If I move an old IRA to Horizon and want to participate in the EFIS Growth Fund, is a checkbook LLC required? So EFIS Growth Fund is what Braden Shaw was presenting last week. It's on our investment corner. You don't have to have a checkbook LLC. If you wanted to manage the interest, I'm not too familiar on what the interest is and like what the distributions are for it. So if you wanted to reinvest the distributions, you would want to have a checkbook LLC to have access to that money right away. But you technically don't have to. For any investment for that purpose, you don't have to have a checkbook LLC. Our clients just like it, or clients in general just like it because it's easier. They have control of the money. They're the manager of the LLC. But you can call Chris's team and have any investment done without a checkbook LLC. Stacy's asking, when you have a self-directed solo K, are your annual fees paid with your personal account or solo K account, or does it matter? I'd like compliance to answer that. You guys.
Compliance.
Because I know the answer, but I don't know if it matters. So that's the part where I'm like, I'll let you guys answer.
We offer both options. Some people prefer one over the other. It is a personal choice. The only thing I can say is some people don't want to pay it out of their retirement plan because they want that to grow as much as possible. So they do want to pay that out of their own personal funds, but it is basically a personal option. You can't do either.
Did it go away? Oh, I disconnected it, I think maybe. You can hear me? No, you can't? Oh, okay. There you go. All right. 2 questions. Where can I find a full Horizon Trust fee schedule? Chris, where can they find the fee schedule?
On our website. So it's on our forum section of horizontrust.com. We do have our fee schedule depending on the type of account that you have. You'll find the 2 different ones there. There's a 401k, then there's like the standard IRAs. So they're both separated out, but available there.
Yeah. And we recently changed our fee schedule to make it the most affordable in the industry. So you will see that to set up an account, and the first annual fees for any account that Horizon Trust offers is $495. And it doesn't include it includes all transactional fees. So you're not going to get any wire fees, check fees, asset fees, quarterly fees. What are all the other fees? There's so many fees that other custodians we've seen.
Purchase of an asset, maintenance. There's
Any
Yeah.
kind of transaction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all sorts of fees that we've seen other custodians have. We don't have any of that. So for 1 year, all you're paying is $495 to set up the account, transfer the account, invest the account. And then after that, you're going to go ahead and go into a tier system. So all of that is on our website. You can go on our website and find the fee schedule. And if you have any questions, just call us. And the second part of this question is there a new group where Horizon customers rank or have provided ratings, honor notes to be aware of certain investments? So, Carrie, there are no.
Sorry, you
there
kind of broke
isn't.
up for me. Can you do that one more time?
Yes. Is there a group where Horizon Trust customers rank or have provided ratings, honor notes to be aware of certain investments?
We have not provided anything like that. The SEC website has investment information for companies that are required to file with them or have red flags on them or investigations that are public. That information would not usually come from us. We provide anything that we have to the customers that if we get it directly to anyone involved with an investment, whether, returns or problems, but we don't have any lists that we can provide for that information.
Yeah.
I would also add that we do have a Facebook group. So you guys can use that to communicate with each other. So you guys can always throw questions in there and speak to each other and kind of figure out what's working, what's not working. If there's anyone who are considered red flags, you can discuss that among yourselves.
That's a great point. The Facebook community, you have to be a client to be a part of the Facebook community. But once you are a client, you'll get an email. You can go ahead and sign just a waiver saying, hey, we're not giving any financial advice on here. You guys are talking to each other and kind of going over investment opportunities and answering questions on that group. And then we'll go ahead and let you go into that group. So yeah, that's a great point. Do you set up an IUL account? That would be the long-term life insurance. We do not. Greg's son does, though. So if you need information on that, just go ahead and send me an email, and I will send you over to Carson Herling, who is totally different industry, but I think they correlate in some way. So we get that question a lot. Stacy is asking, can you move a self-directed solo K from one trust company to Horizon if there is an active participation loan? It's a great question. Carrie, you want to
Sure.
go over how it would work?
Yeah, we don't have any issue with that. We need probably a little more information than just an assignment or transfer of the asset. We need to know the past history on the payments, the current schedule, and loan amounts. It is not a huge deal, but it is definitely doable if you want to move that and start paying to us to pay off that loan. So it's definitely doable.
I will also add that it also depends on the other custodian if they are willing to let it go and transfer it over to us or roll it over to us. Sometimes they'll require you to pay it off before the account gets moved over. So I guess it just depends on the relationship that you have at the other location, and see if they are open to doing that. It kind of depends on their rules on it
True.
too.
Yes.
So every
Most, I
custodian
think,
can have, oh, yeah, I
I
didn't
think it
know
depends
that.
on it. I think it's more if it's an employer plan, like if
True.
you work for a big
Yes.
company, they would probably make you pay that off. If it's a solo K, that's more kind of on you as the
Yeah.
manager of that plan. So it would be probably easier that way. So it's dependent, like Chris said.
Yes. You definitely want to inquire with your 401k provider on that. I have Lynn here asking, I have accounts with Horizon Trust. What is involved in buying rental properties with the funds?
I knew that was coming to me.
Titling, sales agreement. There's all sorts of things that's involved.
Yeah.
So I'm going to let Chris go over this.
Real estate is definitely a good investment. It's a lot of things that are required in order for us to get it started. And just in general, I feel like just buying a property is a lot of things, right? So it's always starting off with us on our end, the direction of investment form. That is us getting that written authorization to go ahead and move the money from your account to whoever needs to go. But then it goes into, well, you need to have, are we sending out earnest money? A lot of times earnest money is required. If that earnest money is required, we're going to ask for that direction of investment form and then the purchase agreement. And in the purchase agreement is where it will list what earnest money is due. And so we would then send out the funds for the earnest money. Sometimes there isn't earnest money, we're just sending the cash. Or if we've already moved past the earnest money being sent out, we will ask for another direction of investment form for the remaining balance that is owed for this. And then we would need the closing packet of documents. So that's like your settlement statement or your HUD, and then any other documentations that are related to this investment or this purchase. That could be a promissory note, a deed of trust, and there's a lot of different like warranty deeds and things like that. So those are documents that we would require to have just so we can have it all laid out of what the entire purchase is going to be. Now, as far as titling goes, when you purchase the property, it's not going to be purchased under your own personal name. Everything is going to be invested or coming from your account. So there's a very specific way that titling needs to be done. So the owner name will be Horizon Trust FBO, the client name and account type. So that will be listed throughout all of the documentation. When it comes to signing, because there's usually signing that comes with real estate, we have representatives here. We have authorized signers who would sign on behalf of your account. So we would be the ones who would send, of course, the funds out, and then we would sign the documentation and then send that out as well to title company, law firms, escrow, wherever that's going. But we take care of that portion of that too. The one mention that I did say was a deed of trust or promissory note may be needed, but that's if you're having like a mortgage, if this is being financed. And if that is the case, there is another step that's involved because you do need to have a non-recourse loan. A non-recourse loan just means that instead of going through the regular financing, you need to have a little extra security to basically say, in the event, if it ever occurred where you run into default, you cannot continue to pay for this property. They can't come after you personally. What they can go after is the account that it's coming from, and that's as far as it will go. They will take the home back and they could go after your retirement account, but they can't go after you personally, which means that there's no credit impact. There's no things like that. It won't hurt you personally. But that is a requirement that the IRS has put forward that needs to happen anytime you are purchasing using a retirement account. So lots of little steps in there, but on our direction of investment form, it kind of gives you examples of what kind of documents that you'll need based on the type of investment that you have. And you can kind of use that as a checklist. But if you ever have any questions, you can always call, you can speak to a representative with us, and we can walk you through where you are in that process and kind of help you out with what documents that we'll need and the process and the steps along the way.
Yeah. This is one of the investments that clients like checkbook control over, because when they're buying a rental property, it's not just buying the property, it's also paying all the bills, paying if it needs any kind of work, any handyman work. Then when you need that kind of payment, it has to come from the IRA directly, or from the self-directed IRA, Roth IRA, whatever you have. So then you have to come to us every time that you have to pay a bill. It's called a bill pay request, which is going to be 24 to 48 hours is our standard processing time. But if you need it right away, if you have checkbook control, you can just go ahead and write a check from the LLC directly. So it just depends on how active you want to be in the actual process, the actual investment. But it does they do like the checkbook LLC part of it for buying of properties. Henry's asking, I have been using our checkbook self-directed 401k for a few years. We have had a number of real estate transactions. Does Horizon provide services to help reconcile our 5,500, or is this a service for our CPA? Carrie.
Yeah, we do. The transactions within the 401k or LLC within the 401k are not really required for 5,500. But we do offer it. Our third-party administrator, Cooper Coons, who handles opening plan documentation for solo 401ks, as well as any IRS or Department of Labor changes or updates that come through, they're there to update all the plan documents. But they also are able to file the 5,500 form, so you do not have to go to a CPA. You can if you want. We ask that you let us know so that we don't try to get that set up for you. But we provide information to Cooper Coons, the information necessary for the 5,500 if it is required to be filed. The 5,500 is only required if the entire plan is over a value of 250,000, regardless of any transactions or rollovers or contributions. So if it's over that value with a 2-participant or single participant in the plan, then we will be able to do that for you. We provide them the information for the end of the year, whether you made contributions, rollovers, if you've taken out a qualified loan, values and liabilities within that plan. All that can be provided to them, and basically you review that information when it's available and e-sign that, and it's filed. So you do not have to do pretty much anything unless you see some maybe errors or changes that need to be on the form, and you can let us know about those.
Thank you. I have somebody asking, how do you convert IRA to Roth IRA, and do you guys help with that process?
Yeah. That's a Roth conversion. So that is a simple process too. It's another form you fill out. You tell us what you want to do, whether it's a portion of your account or the full account that you want to have converted over. And at that time, you can also say whether you want your withholding completed at the time of conversion also. So you would just let us know, you fill out the form, submit that over to us, and our teams will go ahead and get that moved over. But it could be not just cash, it could be an asset also. So it just depends on what you guys want to do and what you have to move over.
Mm-hmm. And you let us know what the conversion amount is. It doesn't have to be the full amount, and you can go ahead and work with your CPA on what makes sense for your financial situation for the year. That's something we do all the time. Again, there's no transactional fees for that. There's we go ahead and convert that money over when you guys give us direction. I have Dorothy asking, I have an ETF my grandson recommended. Can I buy this with my Horizon Trust account?
You cannot technically on our platform, but we do have a public trading platform affiliate that we work with, Axos Clearing. They are public trading. We can get an account set up right away and move money over to that for that kind of trading. A lot of people prefer that situation because they don't have to diversify and move accounts out of Horizon if they want to self-direct, and they have an investment paid off and they don't have anything ready, they can move it over to a public trading platform and earn there while they still self-direct with the remaining investments here. So they can kind of do both things in the same area instead of having to actually move their account somewhere or part of their account somewhere. So we do have that available. It's not directly at Horizon, but that is still available to do.
Yeah, and it's a super simple process. We'll go ahead and help you with the application to start the account at Axos. We'll move the money over, and you can start self-directing your account on that side. I have an account with Axos, super easy platform. You can use or you can invest in ETFs. That's one of the options that they have. So yeah, you can definitely. I would ask what the ETF is that your grandson recommended. Just do a little bit of research, but there's so many of them now. It's probably a crypto one because that's what the kids are into now. But yeah, call us and we'll be able to
That's what
get
the
it.
kids are into, huh?
Well, not me. I'm not a kid anymore. That's what that's what that's what I hear. All right, I have Lisa that is asking, what is the difference between the IRA and the 401k accounts? Which is an account where we did a rollover from our 401k. I think what you're asking, Lisa, is what's the difference between the IRA and the 401k? It seems like you had probably a 401k from an old employer, turned it into an IRA. So now what's the difference between that? Do you want to go over? The 401k is something that's sponsored by a company, basically. So if you have a solo 401k from here at Horizon Trust, it's sponsored by an active business that you're running, or that is the sponsor for the 401k plan. Same thing whether it's here at Horizon Trust or if it's in a 401k somewhere else. So if you worked for Walmart, let's say they offered a 401k, now you don't work for Walmart, that 401k is able to transfer over, and we would transfer it into an IRA. So two separate types of accounts, and that's what she's
Yeah,
asking.
I mean,
Probably.
they're both tax deferred accounts also, but it depends on where you started from. So, right. So you have your company that you worked for is your 401k, and then your IRA is like your own personal individual account that you have with us here. And that's the difference of it. I think a lot of times people kind of mix it up because, and I know we do this a lot too, just because we're here. But we say 401k as just a general term, but it's 401k and a solo 401k. And I think that's probably where people get maybe a little bit more confused, because what we hold with us are solo 401ks. So those are a little bit different than what your standard 401k would be, because that's with your job, right? That's your old job that you had. That's where it originated from. And then it moved over to an IRA. So I don't know if that helped, that added a little extra, but it gets confusing because it's just a general term, I think, we use.
The best thing to do is call our new accounts division, and they will go over the
There's
questions.
so much better explaining that part.
Well, yeah, and they'll go over the questions pertaining to your specific situation and tell you what accounts you can open. Not what you should open, but what you can. And then you decide if you need an IRA, you need a 401k, and we'll go ahead and start a conversation that way. So definitely schedule your appointment, and they'll be able to guide you on that. Frederick, it says, see my second question above, but I can't find that question. So it's up. Okay. I'm going to go up, but if you want to go ahead and put it on there again, I will definitely ask it. Oh, it looks like we got a new. We have Dorothy asking, what is a syndication? Somebody want to explain what a syndication is?
Well,
It's an investment type,
right.
but basically it can be a PPM. It can be it's like a group of individuals for an organization that are kind of crowdfunding for a specific investment.
Right. It's usually a fund in some way. A lot of times for real estate, it could be a lot of different things. That's why we kind of we hesitated a little bit, just because it's like, well, how far do we go into
Yeah.
this? But yeah, it's a way of pooling money for a specific reason. And like I said, a lot of times it's for real estate.
Yeah, most of the times it's for real estate.
Yeah.
But it's when a group of individuals kind of start a deal, and then you have one or two managers that are actually doing all of the work, and the investors are just investing into the actual syndication deal, it's called. So for the most part, the IRA investors here at Horizon Trust, if you're doing a syndication investment, you're not doing any of the work. You're just go ahead and sending the money. Let's say you're investing $50,000, and in the terms, it'll tell you how much of the distribution of the earnings you'll get. So that'll be something that goes to Chris's team. They'll go ahead and review that everything is titled correctly, and they'll send the $50,000 or whatever your investment is. And then when you get distributions from the syndication deal, that goes back into your IRA. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay. Perfect. Frederick, I didn't find your question. So if you want to go ahead and put it on there, I will definitely answer it for you. I have somebody asking, my wholesale investments are outside the LLC. I'm doing business with my LLC's name. So since my monies were not drawn from the LLC checkbook, could I deposit straight into my LLC checkbook to have a stronger funding investment account? That was a lot. I think what you're asking, did you kind of get that?
Yeah, sounds like he's already investing separately, personally.
Oh, personally.
That's what it sounds like on
Okay.
from what I'm hearing.
I
And
think
you're
this
asking.
is Frederick's question, honestly.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
So then you're asking for that money that's coming from that wholesale deal that you're doing separately on the side and add it into your checkbook LLC. And if that is the question, unfortunately, you would not be able to do that. The money that's coming from the money that you're using for your LLC all has to originate from your retirement account. So we can't commingle funds from your personal and from your retirement account together. So you cannot do it that way. You can't just deposit. And I understand sometimes you just need a little extra cash to kind of move forward with it. So we have options. You can either contribute more to your account here at Horizon Trust, or you can do a transfer or rollover of funds from another retirement account. And then once the money is in the Horizon Trust account, we can then move it over to the LLC. So that is an option. Another option, depending on what the deal is and how it goes, and this gets a little bit more complicated, but maybe you can do a side-by-side kind of investment where you are saying that there's more than one owner of this real estate deal or this wholesale deal, and it's 50% ownership or whatever that could be. So it just depends. That gets a little bit more complicated because there's a lot of rules involved and stuff like that. But to keep it the simplest, to ensure that you are not violating any IRS rules, it's best to ensure that all the money comes from one location and it's all from retirement funds into the LLC, and then the LLC makes the investment solely. So unfortunately, if that is your question, I'm so sorry. You can't commingle.
No commingling of funds. I have Stacy here that's asking, does Horizon provide a coach or consultant to discuss investment options / strategies as part of your services? I will let our compliance manager answer that.
Unfortunately not. We are strictly passive. We can't advise or kind of sit with you and help you financially or make decisions on what you personally should be investing in or not. All we can do is give you the facts, give you guidance, give you information on the accounts, on investments, offer or provide you information on companies that our clients have already invested into from our investment corner. So we give you tools, we give you education and information. So that's the best we can do here. We can't really advise you on specifically what you should be doing.
Yes. CJ is asking, do you act as custodian for 1031 exchange? No, right?
I'm not too familiar with the 1031. We can. There's two different forms, but this involves a property transfer switch between two entities without any tax, without any earnings. So there's no tax involved with the earnings. Honestly, if you're doing that within a plan, it wouldn't really matter. There's no tax until it's removed from the IRA, but it's still available to do if that's something you want to do, but it depends on your situation.
Perfect. I have somebody asking, can you do a 503C as a checkbook account with the Roth sdira?
This was
Again,
earlier, wasn't it?
yeah, I think this is the one that they put it back on there. This is something that we have to research. Definitely give us your information and we will go ahead and send you an email with any information that we can find, but that's not something that we know off the top of our head.
We can give like structures, like you can't have a checkbook LLC from a 503C. I mean, that's a separate, that's not a qualified entity. So you could probably invest into that from your IRA or checkbook LLC within your IRA. You can invest into a company that is a nonprofit, but it's not connected, I think, the way that you're describing it sounds like.
Perfect. Okay, we will do a couple more questions and then we will wrap up. I have somebody asking, can you define self-dealing in a self-directed IRA and what that means? I'll let any of you do that.
So self-dealing is where you will benefit from an investment that's within your plan. So whether that is taking money out of your LLC for personal use, whether that is earning a commission for a property sale that's in your plan. There's a lot of different things that it can encompass. But it's basically if you earn compensation, whether that's funds or basically a bonus of some sort, that's self-dealing. That's you would probably want to avoid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you definitely want to talk. I have Bia here. Based on our last conversation, I rolled over a 401k to a 401k with you guys, which seems to be unallowable. No, that's actually very allowable. You're doing one qualified account to another qualified account, so you should be totally fine. But Bia, I'll send you my email address, and you can definitely ask me if you're one of our clients. We can get on the phone and go over your specific situation. But no, that's definitely what we do here. We do from one qualified account to another qualified account. So, all right. Should we wrap up?
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
go for it.
Let's wrap up. Thank you so much for everybody for joining us. If you got some value out of it, if we got all of your questions answered, definitely book an appointment if you have any other questions. And if you don't, we're going to go ahead and send the replay so you can go ahead and listen to our answers. And we're also sending you the replay for the 3-day event that we did last week. Something that we got a lot of got a lot of people asking for. So we will go ahead and send that out later today as well. And let's end with who's winning the Super Bowl.
Wow.
I don't even know who's playing. So,
Well, we don't know either, Chris. Do you know
that
the Super
See, I don't know. I don't do sports. I have no idea. You know.
Oh, that was for Carrie. See, this is how uninformed we are, Carrie.
Claudia, who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl?
The Super Bowl is going to be the Raiders lost yesterday, huh? Well, not the Raiders. It's too soon. There's only been
This was your question.
I know, but I wanted to ask you that. So that's why I asked it. Who's winning the Super Bowl, Carrie? Taylor Swift, Dorothy. See,
Oh
this
gosh.
is
Taylor
I said
Swift.
that I said
She's
that
already
in an
won.
internal meeting. I was like, Taylor Swift will be there.
There's a lot of good teams. The Eagles might repeat, honestly.
The Eagles? Yeah.
Yeah.
They won last year, right? Or this year?
The Bills might win. They look good. They did play the Jets though, so.
All right. So we'll keep that question going for the next, it takes like 6 months, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Something like that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Next time.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you in 2 weeks.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. There's lots more great content for you to learn and enjoy and apply to. And so anyways, click on the link below and listen to more videos or set an appointment with us. We look forward to hearing from you and also helping you.